It's now my great pleasure to introduce our 2013 size commencement speaker, Mr. K. Stu Shea. Stu is a man of considerable accomplishment, and let me share just a brief summary. Stu currently serves as the Chief Operating Officer of SAIC. Shea was formerly the President, Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group at SAIC and joined the company in 2005 as Senior VP and General Manager of Space and Geospatial Intelligence. Previously, he held positions at Northrop Grumman and PAR Technology Corporation. I have a much longer introduction. I think what I would prefer is to actually let Stu get up here and speak to you. So let me just say, Stu received a Bachelor of Science from SUNY Albany and a Master of Arts from the University of Kansas. And perhaps more importantly, he's the proud father of a double Duke. His daughter Lisa received her master's degree last night in another one, here we go. Banner bearers. In writing, rhetoric, and technical communication. So please join me in welcoming our 2013 commencement speaker, Mr. Stu Shea.
Good morning, class of 2013. I want to thank President Alger and Dean Colvord for allowing me to participate in this great celebration. I'm honored to be with you here today for the commencement of the greatest university in the world. At least that's what Lisa tells me after spent 6 years here. So I remember that day 6 years ago, dropping her off at Huffman Hall, and yes, within minutes of arriving, my SUV was surrounded by that mob of crazed frogs. Apparently, they were all there to help us unload her entire life into the dorm in about 3 nanoseconds. And they were singing and smiling and dancing. And I remember saying to Lisa, "Why is everybody so happy?" And she said, "Because, Daddy, they're at JMU." To the members of the faculty, parents, grandparents, family members, and especially the graduates, welcome to you all and congratulations on being part of this historic first commencement for JMU's College of Integrated Science and Engineering. For most of you graduates, today is a celebration of a grand achievement, being awarded a degree. Today is a rite of passage. You are now transitioning from doing what others want you to do to doing what you want to do. You're about to embark on a life journey, and you will soon realize that your time at JMU has prepared you well for that journey. With each step along the way, I am confident that you will have the support and love of your friends and family as a core foundation to build upon. These grand achievements are the reasons that most of you are here. For some of you, however, today is just merely a celebration of being able to survive the hangover that you have from excessive pre-graduation preparation. For you, proud few, I promise that you are not the first to have taken that path. And someday, just like your parents have done with you before, you will engage in a fruitless dialogue with your own children, trying to explain that you were much cooler in college than they thought you were capable of being. Good luck with that. History does in fact repeat itself. But whatever the reason, today is indeed a day of celebration. Now, as you reflect on your 4 years at JMU, or perhaps 5 for some of you, you must now begin to wrap your head around the unknowns of your future. I want to cover 3 topics with you today that will help you with that transition. First, I want to baseline the conversation. I want to talk a little bit about the changes that you're about to experience. Second, I want to talk about the importance of hard work in pursuing a career, but also how to accept both luck and serendipity in that process. And finally, I want to share with you a couple of guiding principles as you can consider as you navigate that future. So let's talk about change. Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, "There's nothing permanent except change," and how true that is. Over the past 4 years, you have each witnessed the inevitability of your own change. And surprisingly, some of those changes might have been viewed negatively by both family and friends. The body piercing that you always wished for, the tattoo that you were dying to get, or having enough strength to finally come out and acknowledge your own lifestyle. These are changes that reflect who you are. And more importantly, they reflect who you will become starting today. I would opine that even those are all positive changes. They're just part of the natural evolution of change in your lives, and they mirror the individuality and the uniqueness of each of you. Like all decisions that you'll make from today forward, only time will tell the impact of those decisions on your future. Over your lifetime, you will surely change your views and your priorities, and you may someday look back on some of your decisions and want to undo them. What I've always said to my 2 kids is to realize that some decisions that you make cannot be undone. So choose wisely. You can have a tattoo removed, but driving drunk and injuring someone can never be undone. When put in that extreme context, most of your decisions are really quite easy to think through. So don't worry so much today about making all your life choices. You will have plenty of time left in your life to make good choices and ample opportunity to screw up as well. Chinese philosophy sees the evolution of life's events as acceptance of the inevitability of change. Change is predestined. And as such, you're about to change whether you want to or not. And you must learn to adapt to and evolve with that change. British naturalist Charles Darwin said it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that's the most adaptable to change. And yet, despite the inevitability of change, people spend enormous energy resisting it rather than welcoming it. So my guidance to you is get over it. Strap yourself in and adapt to the changes that are about to happen. Now look around you today. Take a look left and look right. And think about the changes that will soon take place. Thanks for doing that. I see 3 people responded. You know, tomorrow you may never see those people again. Now, for some of you, that itself is a blessing. And is one of the rewards of graduation, getting away from these people. But for the most part, you will soon realize the incredible impact that these people have made to your life. Some changes will be welcomed. No longer will you need to endure that anonymous person in your dorm that takes your laundry out of the dryer before it's done. But there's an equal number of changes that you'll indeed miss. No longer will your wardrobe consist of only purple and gold sweatpants and t-shirts. And with these changes come opportunity. So embrace the change. Wrap your arms around it and shape it. You know, on the JMU website, there's a tagline that says, JMU is where change is the status quo, and that JMU grads are changing the world one person at a time. I truly believe that this is not just a slogan, it is Madison. Your experience at JMU has indeed prepared you to change the world. JMU may change lives, but Dukes can change the world. But before you focus too much on the future, take in the present moment, the incredible graduation experience. Why? Because pretty soon you'll be shuffling kids around the soccer games and wondering why your best jeans don't fit. So let me take you on my own career journey that was marked with lots of different changes. I've often been asked, how did you go from being a cartographer to a chief operating officer of an $11 billion company with 40,000 people working for you? Well, I'd like to believe that I mapped out my career, no pun intended, and I followed a well-thought-out strategy. But the reality is that my own career journey was highlighted by an unplanned mixture of hard work, luck, and serendipity. My parents wanted me to go into the family business. It was a moving company. But in high school, I decided instead I wanted to be a forest ranger. The idyllic world of sitting in the woods with not a care in the world. But then I realized I needed to make enough money to eat. So instead I applied for my undergraduate degree program to study medicine. But all the required studying seemed to constantly get in the way of playing college lacrosse and learning how to play guitar. So I changed my degree to geology. After all, there was an oil crisis in the 1970s, and I knew that a long-haired, guitar-playing lacrosse player could easily make a living by discovering oil in faraway places. But as I was finishing my bachelor's degree, I quickly realized I didn't want to move to Alaska to look for oil, and besides, there weren't a lot of successful cover bands in tundra environments. So I once again pondered my future. I always found maps fascinating, so I switched to studying cartography in graduate school. Now, as you can see, and for you parents out there, I had a very specific plan. Clearly, my plan was to drive my parents crazy on what I was going to do with my life. I went to Kansas to get my master's degree, and then I thought I'd finish up with my PhD and eventually teach. Well, the random nature of my career once again took hold. Because I was paying out-of-state tuition, I ran out of money. I couldn't figure out how 4 more years of graduate school at $20,000 per year made sense when the starting salary for cartographers was about $10,000 per year at that time. It just didn't scale. So with frustration, I finished my master's and I left university life and I got my first job. I never did finish my PhD, and this became my single greatest unfilled goal that has haunted me for the past 30 years. But as I started my first job, I always believed that life was a journey and not a destination. And I also found out that career success was all about hard work, luck, and serendipity. So let me explain. When I was your age, I had many varied interests, not unlike the different majors in this college. I enjoyed geography. I was always enamored with intelligence, and in fact, my first job interview when I was leaving my master's program was with the CIA. I considered myself a scientist and an engineer with strong fundamentals in technology. I was an aspiring computer scientist, at least as much as you could be, given the state of computers in the 70s and early 80s. And I loved to invent things, technology, concepts, businesses, mostly because I was bored with focusing on doing any one thing. The frustrated academician in me began to conduct research and write about some of these crazy ideas. And one of my ideas had to do with this concept of how you could program a computer to create maps. Now, you may laugh about that today, but recall the time. It was 1984. Cell phones, Xbox, DVDs, Twitter, text messaging didn't exist. There was no internet. There were very few personal computers, and there was no mapping industry to speak of. What I didn't know at the time was that the CIA was developing a futuristic computer mapping system that was going to bring all those topics together. But they found themselves with a technical roadblock that put the success of the program at risk. They scoured the cartographic literature and they found some research that I had done on the very same technical subject that they were confronted with. So they pulled me behind a vault door, they had me sign my life away, gave me a top secret security clearance, and they invited me into the amazing world of intelligence. Well, I ended up leading the design of a major portion of that complex system, and I knew at that point I was the luckiest guy in the world. But I never stopped inventing. It was 1986, and I had an idea for a new commercial business built on the same concepts I was developing in that classified program. I called it Maps on Demand. I shared the design concept with a number of my colleagues. My friends said, let's quit, let's go start our own company and go do this. He was so excited. But I was having way too much fun working in that amazing classified program that needed me so much. So I turned him down. But he did go start a company. It went through a few changes. And in 1999, he sold MapQuest.com to America Online for $1.1 billion. So what did I learn from that experience? Well, first, the very best career planning in the world wouldn't have ever included me planning to get a great job, then quitting it to start a risky business and making lots of money. And second, even if I did, there was a heck of a lot of luck and serendipity that went into that eventual success. The idea could have gone nowhere. My friend and I could have ended up as delivery guys for Jimmy John's. So did I make the right choice? Yes, because it was entirely my choice. And nearly 30 years later, I've enjoyed a great career by building off that first opportunity I had to work with the CIA. I've seen an industry grow up around me. I've been blessed with opportunities to meet and work with some incredible people. And I've gotten to participate directly in building solutions that protect and serve this great nation. But most importantly, doing all those things has somehow gotten me invited to share my story with the most incredible audience of future leaders of the world, the JMU grads that are here today. Now that's truly special. So finally, what I want to do is I want to conclude with a few thoughts about what I learned along my way in that career journey and hope that they help you navigate the sea of change that you're going to experience beginning today. Socialite Claire Booth Luce, the first woman in Congress, was well known for her quips, including the phrase, "No good deed goes unpunished." But perhaps my favorite quip of hers is, "A great man is one sentence." If I said to you he preserved the Union and freed the slaves, you would probably say, Abraham Lincoln. So what will your sentence be in 5, 25, or perhaps 50 years from now? How do you want to be remembered? All the decisions that you make starting today will shape that one sentence. Now, along the way, try to learn from others' successors, failures, experience, ideas, and brand them as your own. Become a student of the game by witnessing all those around you. Have a thirst for knowledge and try to learn something new each and every day. Find a mentor and ask them for help. And don't be too proud to ask for help from your parents when what you're trying in life isn't working. Many parents have made every conceivable mistake in their own journey, and we really do want to save you from making the same mistakes that we did. And in learning something new every day, try to follow great leaders. John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, to become more, then you are a leader. Find people like that. Follow people like that. They will inspire you. Or better yet, become a leader like that, for others will want to follow you. it will inspire them. In all that you do, operate ethically, morally, responsibly, and with integrity. Why? Because it only takes one misstep in a career to erase decades of righteousness. In short, having conviction to accomplish a goal is wholly different from getting convicted and reaching it. When you're pursuing your goals, act like a Marine and never leave the wounded or dead on a battlefield. In other words, someday you may need the help of all the people you've stepped over to achieve your goals. And your enemy today may be your boss tomorrow. You will soon learn that team is a sine qua non of success. Team success breeds personal success, not the other way around. As Coach Herb Brooks said in leading the 1980s Olympic hockey team, the name on the front of the jersey is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Always stay true to your goals. Steve Jobs, former CEO of Apple, once said, "Don't waste your life living someone else's life." American author Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones that you did. So have a sense of urgency in all the things you think you can wait for, and delay all the things that you think need to be done right away. If I had been given that advice, I might have finished my PhD instead of regretting it 30 years later. Accept the simple fact that achieving your goals will be hard, and you will fail. My view is that failure is merely a dry run for future success. So have courage. Be unafraid of the impossible. Start small, think big, scale fast, and attack life with an attitude to master domination of the universe. Never forget to have a zealous need for fun. It gives you the balance that you will need to accomplish all your other goals. And finally, you are the canvas of your own future. Don't paint within the lines. Be true to yourself. Find out who you are and who you were meant to become. And whatever path you choose it because you will love what you do. And have fun creating the masterpiece of your life that is your one sentence. Congratulations to you all, the class of 2013. Go Dukes.